So guys, this video will be covering the relevant new Gear Lab equipment from the 9th Chinese Server Anniversary update. If you want to know more about equipment past the ones I'm covering in this video, I'll have a playlist linked in the description of my in-depth equipment guides. If you watch and digest those guides, you won't even need me to tell you how good new equipment is, because you'll have all the tools that I use to evaluate new equipment. So actually, maybe don't watch them and watch every single new video I put out instead. Since those guides do exist, I'm not going to start from ground zero, and I'll be assuming that you already have some knowledge about equipment in general. First, and the star of the update, is the new Rainbow Destroyer Gun under the IJN tech tree. This here is the list of destroyer guns on the wiki. The new gun hasn't been added to the table yet, but I hacked into the mainframe, aka added a new row using HTML, so it's easy to compare it to the existing guns. The number that stands out immediately is its DPS against light armor. There is quite a big gap between this gun and the next best gun, which is the Mogador gun. Looking back at a test that I did a while back, which found that the Mogador gun outperformed expectations compared to the Twin 100 by about 5% damage. This 5% accounted for the difference in firepower between the two guns, and is a result of Mogador gun's AP ammo having slightly better range and hit rate. Since the new Twin 127 also has HE ammo like the Twin 100, I'm gonna assume that the Mogador gun outperforms it in terms of ballistics in the same way, but even if we grant the Mogador gun the extra 5% performance it has in practice, the new Twin 127 still outperforms it by 20% against light armor. Of course, it wins against heavy armor as well, but the damage is still too low to make it a relevant option against heavy armor. You're better off using other damage types. Destroyers that excel against heavy armor like Z-52, Kazagumo, Trafalgar, and so on typically use the P shooters anyway. Compared to the Twin 100 Kai, the difference is so big that even a ship like San Diego, who fires a barrage every main gun shot, will prefer the new gun despite it having a much longer cooldown. This will be a pretty big upgrade for the Chinese guided missile destroyers and Mogador, and a small one for William D. Porter and Laffy 2. In summary, it's quite straightforward. The new gun is the best against light and heavy armor, while the Mogador gun is still better against medium due to its 90% medium armor modifier. All nuance is pretty much gone from this gun class at this point, provided you have access to these equipment. Next up is the new German torpedo bomber, which is an upgrade over the ever-reliable Ju-87. It adds 0.03 seconds to the cooldown of the Ju-87, which is insignificant and can be treated as the same, while adding just enough damage for it to be tied with the VIT-2 as the strongest permanently available AIM torpedo bomber on a per-strike basis. The event-limited Ryusei Kai, which was released during Hakuho's event, is still a bit stronger at 843 total damage per payload, but you can only have one. Despite its damage being tied with a VIT-2, something that you might not have known is that the VIT-2 drops its torpedoes further away from the target than other torpedo bombers. In this quick demonstration, I have the VIT-2 with the blue energy beam skin, and the new F8U2 with the missile skin, so they're easily distinguishable. When I freeze frame at the moment that the torpedoes are dropped, you can see that the VIT-2 torpedoes are lagging quite a bit behind. This actually makes a difference in hit rate when you're not setting them up with a root effect, as the enemies have more time to move out of the way before the torpedoes reach them. Even if you have a 60% slow like from Eldridge, the VIT-2 will still have worse hit rate against a moving enemy. With this taken into account, there's really no reason to use the VIT-2s anymore unless you want to purposely slow down your airstrike on a ship with high reload for timing purposes, or if you need something that's Northern Parliament. Unlike with the destroyer gun, they had the courtesy to make this upgrade from the Ju-87, which means I was able to get a full refund on the gold plates I spent upgrading them to +13 many aeons ago. The last piece of relevant equipment is this new anti-air gun. It's actually probably the best gold anti-air gun in the game now, having the highest range tied with a Roomba but with better DPS. It doesn't really concern me though, since I just use rainbow anti-air guns which are better, and I don't know if it's really wise to spend these resources on an anti-air gun that will be replaced at some point. But for what it's worth, it does have a reason to exist, unlike some of the previous Gear Lab editions. Okay, that's pretty much it for this Gear Lab update. I hope you found my analysis helpful. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.